And in England, we're quite fortunate that the government is providing a lot of funding or different types of funding mechanisms that you can take advantage of these apprenticeship programs. So for SMEs, which are classified as non-apprenticeship tax levy paying organisations, where their wage bill is less than £3 million per annum, they're classed as an SME. And the way that we fund them of types of apprenticeships is called co-funding in partnership with the government. So the government would fund 95% of the cost of that apprenticeship standard. And then the employer would pay the remaining 5%, which can be paid in one lump sum or over the duration of the apprenticeship programme. And on the right-hand side there, there's the full cost of the apprenticeship standards. So you can see, obviously, quite a lot of funding that's been applied into these individuals and giving them opportunities to take advantage of that funding that's available. So you can see there, obviously for the NDT engineer standard, which is £27,000 worth of training, the government will actually fund 95% of that value. So they'll fund £25,650 with the remaining 5% to be paid by the employer. And that'll cover the cost of the degree and the level 3 up to £2,000 of the level 3, as well as all that other training and support that we can provide. So obviously, and the £18,000 one, that the employer would pay 5% of that value over the duration of that apprenticeship, and similarly with the operator cost as well. Actually, if you're recruiting a 16 to 18-year-old on any of the apprenticeship programs, then the government will cover that 100% of the value of that standard. So even if you put them on the engineering technician apprenticeship and you've got an 18-year-old doing that, the government will fund all of the cost of that training, which obviously for NDT, that's a really good opportunity to take advantage of as well, because NDT training has not been cheap in the past, and it's obviously now's the opportunity to utilise that funding that's available. And in addition to that, you get all of it free or 100% funded by the government, and the government will give you £1,000 incentive for taking on a young starter. So it really emphasises the requirement or the need to get younger people into NDT and into these organisations. So we're actually trying to pay you to take on a younger person and to put them on through an approved apprenticeship programme. So then the other type of funding mechanism is through the Apprenticeship Tax Levy. And the Apprenticeship Tax Levy applies to large organisations where the payroll of that organisation is over £3 million per annum. So 3.5% of that £3 million is paid into an apprenticeship tax levy pot. And that money then is collated every single month into this pot, and it keeps getting topped up. And that funding within that pot can then be used to pay for the apprenticeship standards. So for example, the NDT engineer at £27,000, if that was around £800 per month, for example, to pay for that, then that money can be taken out of the apprenticeship tax levy pot and utilised for the apprenticeship programme. So this is really good for large organisations that keep paying money into this to get it back and to upskill your existing staff or bring in new recruits, put them on a structured training programme. Then the apprenticeship tax levy can be utilised for that. And there's a couple of examples on the right hand side there. So if you've got a wage bill per annum of £5 million, then 0.5% of that would obviously be £25,000 and paid into the pot every single year. So that £25,000 can be used for apprenticeship training. Sure. So next steps, really, how do you get started? So it's quite easy. All you need to do is get in touch with me, and we operate a rolling program. So every single month, we're actually recruiting and enrolling NDT apprentices across the country. And we can do that anytime you want, really, in any location, as long as it falls within England. So from Devon to Kent, up to Middlesbrough and across to Barrow and Furness, we'd be able to support you with that at any point of the year. The only program that where we do 2 different cohorts is on the degree program. And that's where we have a September and January intake, and we have to do that so that we can meet the university requirements for their cohorts that start in at them particular times.